For Crema Media's Polity, I'm Sanel Dlamini. Musician Nakhane Touré joins me to discuss his latest book, Piggy Boys Blues. Welcome, Nakhane.
Thank you for having me.
As a musician, I'm sure a lot of people were not expecting for you to write a book. Most musicians will tell us their story through music. Why was it important for you to tell us through a book?
Well, I always wanted to be a writer. I studied literature at Wits, and I wanted, initially, I wanted to be an academic and lecture, and then do music on the side on the weekends. It's just that the music happened first. But initially, I actually wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to play music in the weekends and be one of those cool lecturers.
Cool lecturers.
But I fell out. I didn't drop out. It's just fees. I fell out of varsity, and I had nothing else to do with my life. So I threw myself into the music because I had nothing else to lose. And that was 7 years ago, and I've been writing this book for about 7 years.
And what revived you to go back and finish off the book after so long?
Even while the music was happening with my debut album, I was still writing, because in my mind I always wanted to do that. It was always something that was very important to me. That story, even though it changed over the 7 years, what it was always something that I wanted to do. And while I was doing my music, I was always continue working on the side on the book, but just slower and bit by bit on it. When I finally got my publishing deal, I sort of became very focused on finishing the novel. And so I went away. I went to the Eastern Cape to my uncle's house in my mind, to revise the book, but I ended up rewriting the book completely. So I scrapped 7 years of work and we started there,
Was it easy for you to do that?
No. Writing is so difficult. Writing music is also very difficult, but there's something visceral and very immediate about writing music. So when you're sitting there and writing music, and you can sort of go back and enjoy what you've written, the 30 seconds that you've written there, and you can sort of see where it's going immediately. There are certain songs that I can write in 10 minutes, and there are certain songs that take me 6 years to write, bit by bit. But writing literature is very slow and very lonely. It's not a collaborative thing. I can't send a piece of or at least the rough version of a song to a rough version of the book to someone, and they'll get it.
Yeah.
You have to somehow finish it for someone to sort of have an idea of where you're going. And so it wasn't easy at all.
And what was your family saying when you decided that, okay, you're going back to Eastern Cape now to focus on a book?
I didn't tell them.
You didn't?
I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone where I was, because I didn't want to be distracted. And I didn't want anyone to call me saying, "You were here and you didn't come say hi." I chose my uncle's house because he lives in East London, where I don't know many people, and there's not enough immediate family for me to be distracted by that. So no one said anything because they didn't know anything.
And what were you hoping to achieve
with the book? It was something that was always gnawing at me for years and years and years for me to finish, and because it was my dream for a long, long time, for years and years and years and years, since I was 16, 17, for me to finish them. I started writing fiction in high school, but so it was always something that I really, really wanted to do. So for my personal litmus test as an artist, I wanted that part to be done, even if it wasn't going to be good, because there was always that danger that I wouldn't be good at it, But I needed to do it, and I wanted to do it, and I wanted to write a story that I felt hadn't been written before, and that was the biggest achievement, I think.
And your name, I know your name. Your real name is Mavuso.
Yeah, Mavuso.
Why Touré now, all of a sudden?
Touré, I changed my surname as an homage to one of my favorite musicians, who is Nakhane Touré. He was a Malian farmer and musician. I did that after I'd written a song on my debut album called, what is that song called? In the Darkroom. And a friend of mine joked and said, because the guitar was very influenced by Nakhane Touré, because I was very, very obsessed with him at the time, still am. And a friend joked and said they should call you Nakhane Touré.
And you were quoted saying that writing the book took you to deal with your issues. What were those issues? What pain did you feel?
Part of the book is autobiographical, but just like a little part of it.
Yes.
To be honest with you, a lot of people have been asking if the book is very autobiographical, and it's fiction, so which means it's a lot of it is imagination, a lot of it is created. I don't think that me telling you what those issues were or what trauma or tragedy happened would help you understand or love the book more, you know. I think that part of my personal life will and should remain a mystery.
Can we expect more books in future?
Oh, definitely. I've started work on my new one, which I don't know when it's going to come out, so I'm not going to promise anything. This one took 7 years to write, but that's because I was very distracted. The next one could take 6 months to write, or a month to write. At the moment, I'm just plotting it and trying to understand exactly what it is and what it is I'm trying to do with it. And it will be quite different to this one because this one's done. I always say once I've done a particular thing, there's no point in me repeating it because I finished it.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to sort of understand what this new one is and sort of try and work out the nuances of the characters, the plot, if there is a plot, because I'm, you know, yeah.
Okay, so we will see you doing more books, and will all your books maybe be on the fiction side, or can we expect something like real now, your life?
You know, it's so interesting because fiction, in my opinion, is probably the realest thing. Because I feel like there's that saying, there's that very cliche saying by Oscar Wilde that give a man a mask and he'll become himself. So I feel like, in my opinion, at least I might be wrong, that there's a lot of truth in fiction, even if it's not lived out experiences. Because writers go, oh well, it's fiction. It's not the truth anyway. I can say whatever I want, and I think that reveals a lot about people. The moment that they're hidden, then they can look at social media.
Yeah.
Look at the comment section in any journalistic space. People are hidden behind their avatars and they can say whatever they want, and the truth about them comes out. And I don't think that memoirs or autobiographies are any truer than fiction, you know, because they also created, they are also performed.
Yes.
You know.
And how is your book different from other books that we've read before?
Well, by default, because it's not those books, you know, it's different in that way. And also it's different because, I would say, because I've never read this story before, you know. And one of my favorite writers, Toni Morrison, said, if you keep on reading books and they're not quite scratching that itch and they're not quite saying what you want to read, then it's your responsibility as a reader to go and write that book. And I took it upon me to write a book that was set in rural space in the Eastern Cape. Urban space as well. But most books that I'd read, even like, for example, by Pasona Mbe, Silodeka, some books by Zekunda, but here's one that's slightly similar, where the characters leave the rural area and go to the city. I wanted mine to be the opposite. I wanted to work with sort of like the idea of trying to be in touch with something not ancient, but something that is not modern, but you as the modern being going and infiltrating that space and seeing how those two spaces, or at least those two entities, work together or don't work together. You know, because sometimes you know, there is that separation of the fact that you haven't been in the rural areas for 20 years plus minus, and of course it's going to be uncomfortable. Of course things are not going to work out. You know. And
do you think for you coming to Joburg has maybe opened doors for you, and do you think it was going to be different if the book was like written in the Eastern Cape?
Yes, because there are more opportunities. But I had to go back to the Eastern Cape and go write it there in order for me to understand the Eastern Cape again, because I only go to the Eastern Cape once or twice a year now, twice at the most. So for me to write about a space that is so far away, I mean, it's not that far away, it's like 1,300 kilometers, but that's quite a distance. And I'd forgotten a lot of things about the Eastern Cape because I was living in Joburg. So I needed to go back to the Eastern Cape to write about it authentically and honestly, you know. And I wanted the book to be a glorification of that space, because the space has gone through so much. You know, the Eastern Cape is, not that other spaces haven't gone through a lot of things, but I, as Mxhosa, as a person who, as a product of the Eastern Cape, needed to go and sort of re-enter it and reconfigure myself into it, you know, which is hard.
Okay. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope it goes well with your book.
Thank you so much.
That was musician Nakhane Touré speaking to Creamer Media's Polity about his latest book, Piggy Boys Blues.